This $190 watch includes a column wheel chronograph, the same kind of mechanism Rolex charges around $15,000 for, yet most watch YouTubers never highlight pieces like this. The reason is simple. Many rely on brand partnerships. Today I'm going to show you 20 watches under $200 that appear like they cost $2,000, including some controversial homage pieces. We'll begin with dive watches. First up is the Orient Casio at $180. This competes directly with the Tag Heuer Aquaracer, priced around $2,500. Here's why it works so well. Look at the hour markers. These aren't printed indices, they're applied metal elements, meaning they're three-dimensional craftsmanship rather than flat paint. Orient physically mounts each marker onto the dial, and each one has its own lume pip, building layered depth when light hits it. That's luxury-level dial construction at a Seiko-level price. The dial itself features a sunburst finish with a radial brush texture, extending outward from the center. This means light shifts dynamically across the surface, creating depth and visual complexity usually found in watches several times more expensive. It doesn't look flat or cheap. It reacts like a $700 piece. The bezel uses an aluminum insert, which is normal for this price range. What matters more is execution, crisp printing, and solid bezel action. The finishing quality is where things stand out. The case uses brush-top surfaces with a directional grain, combined with polished beveled edges between transitions. That mix of finishing styles is what luxury brands use to create visual contrast and depth. Rolex does it. Omega does it. Orient does it for $180. The Tag Heuer Aquaracer sits at $2,500, while this delivers a similar design philosophy for a fraction of the cost. It includes a sapphire crystal, an F6922 automatic movement that is dependable and serviceable, and solid end links in the bracelet rather than hollow construction. Downsides include a basic clasp, no micro adjustment, and accuracy around plus 25 to minus 15 seconds per day, which is acceptable at this level. This is arguably the best value dive watch under $200. Next is the Casio Duro, priced around $50 to $60. To be clear, the lume is not outstanding. It offers 200 meters of water resistance, a screw-down crown, and a unidirectional bezel, meeting ISO 6425. Dive standards at an extremely low price. The lume is usable but not as bright as Seiko-level illumination and fades faster than higher-end divers, but for $50 it performs its job. It uses a 316L stainless steel case and a mineral crystal, which can scratch but resist shattering better than sapphire in some impacts. Compared to something like the Omega Seamaster Professional at around $4,000, this still delivers basic tool watch functionality for about 1% of the price. Bill Gates even wears a Casio, showing that status symbols aren't necessary for value. Watch 3 is the Steel Dive SD, 1970 at about $100. This is an homage to the vintage Seiko 6105 Captain Willard. Many reviewers avoid these because of brand sensitivities, but functionally this is a smart value piece. Inside is the NH35 automatic movement, a proven Seiko workhorse with a 40-hour power reserve, hand-winding, and hacking capability. It includes a sapphire crystal with AR coating, a ceramic bezel insert, 200 meters of water resistance, and solid end links. The original Seiko 6105 now costs thousands if found in good condition. This delivers the design language for $100 without pretending to be the original. Watch 4 is the Seiko 5 SNZH series around $200, inspired by the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. It uses the 7S36 automatic movement, an older but extremely durable caliber that doesn't hack or hand-wind. The dial features applied indices, a day date at 3 o'clock, and a 120-click diver bezel with a vintage-style domed appearance. It carries design DNA from luxury dive watches costing over $15,000 while remaining a straightforward Seiko tool watch. Watch 5 is the San Martin at $200 to $250 depending on model. This uses the PT 5000 movement, a Chinese-made clone of the Swiss Sellita SW200 architecture. It is serviceable by any watchmaker familiar with that system and offers a 40-hour power reserve. It includes sapphire crystal with strong AR coating that nearly eliminates reflections, ceramic bezel insert, and excellent case finishing with brushed and polished surfaces. The bracelet uses solid end links and screw pins. The finishing quality approaches $1,000 watches, with differences mostly in branding and heritage rather than execution. Now shifting to integrated bracelet watches, a category typically starting around $3,000. Watch 6 is the Citizen Tsuyosa, often under $200 on sale. It follows the integrated bracelet trend seen in watches like the Tissot PRX and Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. The bracelet flows directly into the case, requiring precise manufacturing tolerances. It features a sunburst dial, applied indices, and an automatic movement. The bracelet tapers from 20 millimeters to 16 millimeters, improving both comfort and aesthetics with brushed outer links and polished center links. The Tissot PRX costs around $400, while the Royal Oak exceeds $20,000. This is not at that level of finishing, but it successfully captures the integrated bracelet design language for under $200 when discounted. Watch 7 is the Timex Q Reissue at $180 to $200. It draws from 1970s quartz-era Omega Seamaster aesthetics, featuring a 38mm case and integrated bracelet styling. It includes a retro dial texture and a functional battery hatch on the case back, originally designed for easy battery changes without opening the entire case. The vintage Omega Seamaster 120 now costs several $1,000s, while this delivers a similar aesthetic for $200. Watch 8 is the Casio Edifice SO 108D at $100 to $150. At just 8mm thick, it competes with ultra-thin luxury integrated watches like Bulgari Octo Finissimo, which can cost $15,000 or more. It is solar-powered, eliminating battery changes, and uses a sapphire crystal with polished center links. The ultra-thin profile creates a high-end wrist presence at a fraction of the cost. Watch 9 is the Casio Edifice EFV 540D at $100 to $120. A chronograph styled similarly to the Tag Heuer Formula 1. It includes 3 subdials for elapsed time, applied markers, layered hands, and mixed finishing with brushed and polished surfaces. While quartz-powered and lacking mechanical smoothness, visually it delivers a luxury racing chronograph appearance for about $120 compared to $2,000 for the Tag Heuer. Watch 10 is the Pagani Design PD1673 at $120 to $140, inspired by Royal Oak proportions. It uses an NH35 automatic movement, sapphire crystal with AR coating, solid end links, and a hidden butterfly clasp for a seamless bracelet look. The case finishing includes polished sides, brushed tops, and an octagonal bezel with exposed screws. The integrated bracelet tapers cleanly, echoing luxury design language. A Royal Oak starts around $20,000, while this delivers similar visual impact for under $150. Watch 11 is the Orient Bambino at $130 to $150, offering vintage Jaeger-LeCoultre-inspired dress watch styling. It features a domed crystal that creates distortion and warmth, applied indices, and a slim case under 12 millimeters. It uses an automatic movement with hand winding and hacking. Dress watches from Jaeger-LeCoultre in similar vintage styles can cost $2,000 to $4,000. This captures the aesthetic at a fraction of that cost. Watch 12 is the Seiko 5 SNKL41 at $150 to $160 on the secondary market. A discontinued classic with 34mm proportions, sunburst dial, and applied indices. It resembles design cues later seen in higher-end Grand Seiko models like the SBGM 221, which costs over $4,000. This is why it's often called the poor man's Grand Seiko. Watch 13 is the Seiko 5 SNXS79 at $100 to $115, often called the $100 Rolex, due to its 36mm proportions, similar to the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36. It features a sunburst dial, applied indices, and day-date function. A Rolex OP36 costs around $6,000, while this delivers similar proportions and aesthetics for about $100. Watch 14 is the Orient Open Heart at $180 to $200. It exposes the balance wheel through a dial cutout, showcasing the movement's regulating organ. It includes Roman numerals, a domed crystal, and a mid-century design style. Frederic Constant's similar heartbeat models cost $1,500 to $2,000, making this a much cheaper alternative. Watch 15 is the Bulova 96A198 at $150 to $180. Its polished case creates mirror-like reflections, giving it a luxury dress watch appearance. It includes applied indices, a date window, and automatic movement. While movement finishing is basic, the case polishing gives it a premium visual identity often seen in watches above $1,000. Watch 16 is the Citizen Eco Drive Chandler at $75 to $100, powered by light. Since Citizen developed Eco Drive in 1976, it never needs battery changes. It features a matte dial, military-style legibility, and a 37mm field watch case. The IWC Mark series inspires its design language, which typically costs over $4,500. Watch 17 is the Seiko 5 SRPG Field series at $150 to $180. It resembles Hamilton khaki field watches priced around $500 to $600. It includes Arabic numerals, high contrast dial, 100 meters water resistance, and strong lume for night readability. It is a durable, functional field watch with global serviceability. Watch 18 is the Vostok Amphibia at $100 to $150, a Soviet-designed dive watch with a unique compression case system that tightens under water pressure. It uses a friction bezel and highly unconventional engineering. Compared to Swiss divers like Doxa at $2,000 to $3,000, it offers a completely different design philosophy at a fraction of the cost. Watch 19 is the Timex Marlin at $180 to $200, based on 1960s Timex heritage. It includes a 34mm case, hand-wound movement, and domed crystal for vintage distortion. Vintage Tudor oyster date pieces cost $2,000 to $3,000. While this recreates the aesthetic affordably, though it uses acrylic and requires daily winding. Final watch 20 is the Suges Chronograph Heritage at $189 to $230. This is a manual wind column wheel chronograph using the ST1901 movement, a Venus 175 clone. Column wheel chronographs are typically found in watches costing $1,000 or more, including Rolex Daytona at $15,000 and Omega Speedmaster at $6,000. It includes a panda dial, domed crystal, and 38mm case. While finishing is basic, the mechanical complexity is exceptional for the price. Luxury brands often suggest you need thousands to access meaningful watchmaking, but this list shows otherwise. A $200 watch can deliver real satisfaction without requiring status spending. If I had to choose one, the Suges Chronograph stands out for its mechanical complexity, while the Orient Komatsu remains the best daily value. Now it's your turn. Decide which one stands out most.